And we are excited because we are going to have a workshop called Katha-Kathakar, What, How, and Why of this storytelling style. And this is taught by Vinita Dhondiyal Bhatnagar. And we are so excited. She is presenting this from India. And what's exciting is that because this is a virtual workshop, it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, you can join us. And if for some reason you can't make it on Saturday, October 12th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, then you can get the recording as well and still register just like you would. And we do have a time zone converter, so don't worry, we can help you to make sure you know what time to jump on. But with that said, we know that this is a cross-cultural experiment. Why are you so excited to share this very special style of storytelling that is coming from India?
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited, and why I'm excited is that I've of course learned all this, about and read the books about storytelling which have been written in the U.S. and learned a lot from them. But at the same time, there is an Indian form of storytelling, which is the Katha-Kathakar, and I think it's time to give back and introduce you to our form of storytelling, and let's see if we can make it work. And it's different. It draws from our history and our culture, and I'm just very excited to be able to talk to you about that and share that with you.
And what's exciting is that you will be sharing some pieces of story so that we can understand the culture, the style a little bit better, knowing that every Kathakaar puts their own perspective, has their own interpretation of it. But we are expected as workshop participants to participate. I know you had said there's going to be some singing, there's some dancing. So even though it's through Zoom, make sure that you are ready to jump in. This is not just something that we're going to listen to Vinita the whole time. We're going to actually do things together. So why is that so important to that style of storytelling? I mean, why is there so much interactions and parts to things?
Absolutely, it's very central to the Katha-Kathakar tradition. The whole idea of the listener, first of all, let me warn you, the listener, when they start listening, has to keep listening right till the end. There's no getting up and going and having water, because, in the Kathakar tradition, we actually have these Vrat Kathas, and they have dire consequences if you leave. You don't leave in between. And they will tell you this person left, and you know what happened. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that it isn't just a one directional. I'm not just supposed to tell a story and you're not supposed to just listen, but both of us are supposed to participate in co-creating that story. And so I will want you to be there, with your experiences, with your insights, with your dancing and your singing and your moves and your grooves. Be there.
Well, what's also exciting is that there are the spiritual stories and there are the secular stories, and you will be there that we can ask questions. We can find out which ones are going to be a little easier for us to share when it's outside of our culture, but also being able to understand which ones will we need to be more careful about. Can you give us just a couple examples, even though I know you'll go in more detail with the workshop, of the spiritual and the secular stories that can be shared, even though it's outside our culture, or maybe it is in our culture, but we are learning more about it?
Yeah, so the Katha now is increasingly associated with the religious Katha, and the Katha that I'll share with you is the Ram Katha, and it's Tulsidas's version, which is the 16th century version. But yes, I would, when it comes to the sacred stories, yeah, I would want you to be careful, because if you mispronounce something or some fact goes wrong, it can hurt sentiments, and we don't want to do that. So what I will do is suggest to you the secular kathas that you can tell with ease, and those are very easily available, and those date back to the 11th century to the 7th century BC, and you can go and you can actually share those tales. And what I'd love you to do is, when I tell you a story that's, for example, from the 11th century, to be able to relate it to your hometown, to your lives, and to tell me a counter story, and to tell me, oh, this could have a contemporary meaning or a story or interpretation like this. So that's some of the things, those are some of the things that we will be talking about, where we've got to be careful and where we can have a freer reign.
Oh, we are so excited. So, everyone, again, this is going to be on Saturday, October 12th, 2024. It's from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And there is a time zone converter. You can see that link, storycrossroads.org/all things story. You can register there. You can get the time zone converter, and you can just be full of anticipation for when we join together again. Thank you so much. Until we tell again.
Namaste.